And it's like, do you miss being backstage? No, it's great not being backstage because no one now, everyone could get to him back there. A regular citizen could get to him. And that's something that actually helped Joy as well, was as the coordinator for Lazy Days, all the artists, they wanted to, if they had an issue, they wanted to talk to her. Because that was the name they saw. She made a lot of contacts with artists and things of that nature. And they knew that, okay, Joy's in charge, and I'm going to skip everybody else and I'm going to get to Joy. Well, by her staying in the command post, they can't get to Joy. They got to go through a lot of other people before they get to Joy.
That made my life very happy.
You know, now if she wanted to go out, she would go out, but she would always put someone that could make that decision. If a car got into the festival, whoever she would put in there to take her place had all the same authority that she has. Same with me. If I ever left, I wanted to go get something to eat out at the festival. Whoever I brought in had the same authority as I did. You know, that's the big thing with that the command post.
You have to know the appropriate people to put in your place. And, you know, one interesting thing, too, we were talking with our staff just yesterday about active shooter training here because we're doing some safety training. And they were talking about who is in charge. And I said, whoever is if there was an incident, like the plane crash, say you were the first person on the scene, you would be the incident commander until your superior officer got there. So anybody in the system, if they understand the structure, then they can assume command because they're going to know, okay, well, I'm here, I have to do this. And then when the person that has rank over you shows up, then they assume command and you fall back into the structure. So, you know, that's an interesting thing to think about as well.
Yes, many times we have officers on scenes of major accidents that are commanding for the entire time of the accident. The sergeant will show up, the lieutenant will show up, and they may just come in to check and make sure everything's going okay, but they don't take over ultimate command in the scenario. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point because I'm the watch commander. So right now, any event that takes place in the town of Cary, I'm ultimately responsible for. I don't go to all of them though. They may call me on my cell, or I may go to it, check in. Sergeant or corporal may have it under control. They got it because I can't deal with just that one issue. I might have 4 other issues going on that I would maybe have to go to or call and check on or actually physically take over. If it's big enough, then I'm there. The sergeants and corporals know they have to handle the other stuff going. And that's where NIMS actually, by the other departments in the town learning NIMS, that's also helped them because you have the theater here. Then we have 4 community centers now, or 3?
We have 3 community centers.
3 community centers. Every one of them have events going on at night, and sometimes multiple events. You have the art center that has almost every night something's going on down there, and then you have the other town facilities. Well, if something happens there, the director of Parks and Recs, he's not going to be at all of those. So Joy, this is her facility, and whatever event's going on here, she knows about. Well, if she's not here, then I don't even know who your next person is.
Sarah Hagan, probably.
But they would all know if something happened here, what needs to be done as far as evacuation, where people are going to be evacuated, how many people are in here, important things that I'm going to need to know, fire's going to need to know. That's one of the first things fire and police are going to want to know. How many people are in here, how do we get them out of here safely, things of that nature. So that's where NIMS has also helped.
From the standpoint of succession planning too, if you don't let your people do some of that work, they're never gonna learn that job. So if you're always coming over and taking over, then how are they ever going to progress and replace you? Because one day they're gonna replace you.
Yeah, I have a
You hope
question. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean
That's
to.
okay.
So you just said that you are kind of like the overseer of the events when it comes to safety. So the person that goes, because you said you don't go to all of the events, that's correct? Because you can't go to all of the events, right? Right. So the person that
I'm sorry, I got somebody talking in my ear.
Okay.
That's okay.
So the person that goes to the event for you, what if they mess up and maybe they weren't trained properly, or maybe they forgot to do something? Does it fall back on you?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a major incident
Mm-hmm.
and I don't show up,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably they're going to be asking me why I didn't show up.
Okay.
I can't just be, if something happened right now
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't go,
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I had this group I was talking with, and no, you should have dropped that. And so we have to prioritize what's important.
Okay.
Now, if I've got multiple events going on at one time and something bad happens at all of them, then I'm gonna stop where I'm at. This is my command post. I can make this my command post right now. I go out to my car, grab my laptop, bring it in here. Matter of fact, I plug it into that TV right there so I can see it bigger. Maybe use both, split screen. I'll start doing different things. I'd probably go yell at somebody and say, give me my big map out of it. I would make this my command post.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would be talking to all of those people. I can't get there.
Right.
If I've got 5 different events, one might be, all the way to Durham County line. It takes me 30, 40 minutes to get there. Another one might be deep south at the other community center. That'd take me another 25, 30 minutes to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I could be spread out. And I could be at one of them, but monitoring the others.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that happens, then I'm also going to be calling people in to get me help. But until that happens, I've got it. And a lot of times what will happen is they're not going to take over.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use the big water main break, for example. I'm the watch commander. That's a big event. Had nothing major going on. Had a few other little things going on. So I'm out there.
Okay.
I've got the chief, deputy chief, and a major all watching it on TV because we got a traffic camera right there. We were able to focus in on that. So they're all watching that. At first I was getting a call. It was deputy chief. Hey, have you thought about this? Yeah, I've already got that covered. Okay. And then I get a call from chief. Hey, have you done this? Or I want this done. Okay, chief, it's being worked on. It's like major calls. He's same thing. I'm going like, all right, y'all. Either come out here and take over, or let me do my job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's sometimes hard to say, because you're saying it to your boss.
Right.
Not only your boss, but your boss's boss and the boss's boss.
Mm-hmm.
Town manager, at the same time, he's calling up chief and saying, why isn't this being done? Well, if she can't answer that, I have to at least be able to tell her, hey, this is what I'm working on. Finally, she comes out to the scene. Her and the deputy chief come out to the scene. And they just sit back and they just watch. They don't take over the scene. They're not taking over watch commander position. But they're just sitting back. And now they're not asking me all these questions anymore. Matter of fact, once they got out there, the only thing that they were like, how deep is that water? And our chief actually walked through the water, and I said, you're gonna bust your ass. And luckily she didn't, because I probably would have got in trouble because I laughed. But, she came back and she realized, she goes, that was not, my feet are wet. Yep, a lot of water. I can't remember how many gallons of water was coming out. But in that case, once they came out there and they just listened to everything going on, then they're not gonna take over. Now, if it's something really, another plane crash, a captain might take over, a major, probably not. Because you need those people in the upper structure to stay free because they're doing different things. We don't need our town manager to take over an event. If something happens, he's trusting us as the committee. Joy is running the event. I'm part of that structure, the ICS structure. So we're all doing our little part. If something bad happens, then the town manager, I'm trying to,
I'll give you the example is, remember the plane crash?
yeah,
That we had to make the decision about draining the lake. I was the captain, and so I was in charge of that scene as the incident commander, but I wasn't going to take the responsibility of draining a lake on somebody else's property. It was a big lake. And we had to do that to be able to find, possibly recover bodies and that kind of thing from the plane crash. So I left that to the deputy chief, and he worked that out with the town manager's office, and they got all that done. But I could still keep my scene open, me being the incident commander. Does that help?
Delegation is very
Yeah.
important when you're working like that. I mean, because there are times when, say, I mean, this is a small way, but if I at a festival and I had an artist who, was mad about something or other, it's up to me to delegate to a certain person to go and deal with it and report back. Because the day of the event, really all you're doing is sitting still and pointing and your information gathering and pushing information out and gathering information back. And Snow Command is another good example,
Snow
and
Command is
it's
good,
not,
yeah.
That's not like a plane crash, which is like a catastrophic event, but you would think snow is catastrophic around here. But the Public Works Department sets up a Snow Command, which I've always wanted to work out, but I haven't had a chance to.